Lil Wayne did what? No, seriously, what on earth possessed Wheezy F Baby to drop a video so cold, so unsettling, so career-ending that even TMZ reportedly said, yeah, we're not touching that. Because today, out of nowhere, out of thin Louisiana humidity, Lil Wayne just unleashed what he's calling the last footage of Birdman, yes. Last, as in the clip that shuts the whole chapter down. And the internet. The internet is flipping upside down, sideways, and diagonally like a malfunctioning microwave.y. Because this isn't just another cash money dispute. This isn't another Birdman didn't pay his artist meme. This isn't even another leaked document, shady lawsuit, or uncomfortable flashback from the Carter documentary. No, this time, Wayne pressed upload on something the world was never meant to see. Something that insiders claim has been locked away for over a decade. Something that finally answers the question everyone was scared to ask. What was Birdman really doing behind the scenes? And why did Wayne keep quiet for so long? So buckle up, because this isn't a story. This is a digital earthquake. And if this footage is real, Birdman's entire empire might be seconds away from collapsing on. Livestream. The moment Lil Wayne dropped that so-called last footage, the entire internet froze. Like it just saw a ghost crawl out of a cash money contract. 1 second everybody was minding their business, arguing about Drake's new haircut or Nicki's comeback era, and then boom, Wayne pressed upload and the entire hip-hop ecosystem turned into a courtroom. People were refreshing their screens like they were waiting for the Beyoncé album that never leaked. And the clip wasn't even that long. It didn't have to be. It had the one thing people crave more than new music. A real-life scandal with a pulse. The footage didn't come from a studio camera. It wasn't neatly lit. It wasn't curated. It looked like the kind of video someone records when they're not supposed to be recording at all. The whispers alone in the background, enough to make grown men sit straight. It felt like the kind of thing you don't watch twice because the second view means you know too much. And the worst, this video? It was Birdman. In a room he probably forgot existed. Saying things he absolutely didn't want the world hearing in 2026. Not after all the lawsuits. Not after the interviews. Not after the "that's my son" monologues. And definitely not after pretending all the smoke had cleared. But Wayne had been quiet for years. Too quiet. The kind of quiet that comes right before something explodes, and the clip didn't come with explanation, context, or commentary. Just a caption. The last one? That was all it took. People started running to comment sections like they were reporting a national emergency. Journalists pretending to be neutral were tweeting with trembling hands. Rap blogs were printing paragraphs before fact-checking a single detail. Even the most loyal Cash Money fans suddenly didn't know which side they were on. Because the truth is, the Birdman-Lil Wayne relationship has always been the kind of thing you don't stare at for too long. It looks normal for a second. Then the angles change and suddenly it looks like something darker. Everyone knows how the story started. A young Wayne, barely 9 years old, walking into a world that wasn't built for children. A world run by a teenager with money no teenager should have had. Birdman had $1 million at 14. $1 million. Not rap money. Not inheritance money. Not birthday gift from a rich uncle money. No, this was New Orleans money. Meaning it came with stories, consequences, and a whole list of things nobody wrote down but everyone understood. Wayne's mother was terrified, and she was right to be. Because Birdman wasn't just building a label. He was building a kingdom where he controlled the front door, the back door, the contracts, the recordings, the paychecks, and the kids who wanted to be stars. Wayne didn't just get signed. He got absorbed. Pulled under the wing of a man who knew exactly what he was doing. Birdman didn't just offer opportunity. He offered identity. He offered family. He filled voids. He replaced the father who left. And when someone inserts themselves into that kind of space in a child's life, the power dynamic becomes something nobody wants to talk about out loud. Birdman was mentor, manager, guardian, and boss all in one. And Wayne, just a kid, didn't even know what normal was supposed to look like. He only knew loyalty. Loyalty deep enough to tattoo the man's label on his skin. Loyalty heavy enough to defend him even when the world was whispering. But in the footage Wayne dropped, there was none of that father-son energy. Birdman wasn't talking about love, loyalty, the streets, or family. He wasn't talking about raising Wayne like a son. He wasn't talking about kissing him goodbye like he claimed in old interviews. He wasn't even talking about money or contracts. He was talking about control. Real control? The kind that doesn't sound like business, it sounds like possession. Words you can't unhear. Words you don't want the world to ever hear, because once they do, everything you built stops looking like an empire and starts looking like a crime scene. But let's rewind, because the history matters here. Cash Money wasn't just a record label. It was a factory, a machine, and Wayne was the engine. Birdman didn't say that part out loud back then, but everyone knew. Before Drake, before Nicki, before Young Money became a global phenomenon, Wayne was burning himself out trying to produce enough music to keep the whole operation afloat. Mixtapes, albums, features, tours, he was doing the work of 10 artists and getting paid like one. And every time someone questioned Birdman, he repeated the same lines I never took from them. I always blessed them. I cleared everything up. I paid every problem away, except the lawsuit said otherwise. The unpaid royalties said otherwise. The artists who left said otherwise. The people who tried to sue but ran out of money before they reached the courtroom, they said otherwise too. Still, Wayne stayed. Because that's what loyalty looks like when it's mixed with fear, gratitude, and childhood conditioning. And Birdman knew exactly how much Wayne depended on him. That dependency became leverage. And that leverage turned into power. But that power shattered in 2014 when Wayne finally broke the silence. The Carter V was finished, done, complete, and Birdman locked it away like it was gold bars in a federal vault. Wayne called himself a prisoner. He said his creativity was locked up. His entire identity was trapped inside a contract he couldn't escape. The world finally saw the crack in the father-son fairy tale. And once people saw it, they couldn't unsee it. They started connecting dots nobody wanted to connect, and then came the shooting. A tour bus riddled with bullets. Not random, not accidental. Calls made before, calls made after. Names that shouldn't be connected suddenly appearing in indictments. Birdman said he had nothing to do with it, insisted, repeated, denied. But even if that's true, the fact that his name ended up tangled in the mess at all was proof that the situation wasn't just business anymore. It was something deeper, something dangerous, something messy enough that people in the background started disappearing from the conversation. Yet somehow, after all the chaos, the lawsuits, the accusations, and conversations whispered behind studio walls, Wayne still played it cool. He still didn't expose everything. He settled. He moved on. Or at least that's what everyone thought. Until now. Until the footage. Until the look in Birdman's eyes when he said the one line that made people pause the video and rewind 3 times just to make sure they heard it right. And this is where the video starts getting even stranger. The audio isn't clean. It's grainy. The kind of sound that comes from a phone pressed inside a pocket. But the words? They cut straight through the static. Birdman wasn't talking like a mentor. He wasn't talking like a businessman. He was talking like a man who owned something, someone. He said it calmly, slowly, like it was the most normal thing in the world. And the moment those words dropped, the internet combusted, because suddenly all the old questions came back. All the things people tried to forget. The documentary clip where Wayne talked about losing his innocence too young. The stories about being around grown men doing grown things. The rumors about Birdman putting a gun in his hand before he even hit puberty. The environment Wayne grew up in under Birdman's watch. The blurred boundaries. The blurred roles. The blurred power dynamics. Everything resurfaced all at once. Because right when the clip reaches its most disturbing moment, Wayne's upload cuts to black. No explanation. No follow-up. Just darkness, and this is where the real nightmare begins. Because once Lil Wayne hit post, the entire internet instantly did what the internet does best. Panic first. investigate second, and exaggerate forever. Suddenly, every comment section turned into a digital crime scene. Fans weren't just reacting, they were dissecting timestamps, zooming into grainy frames, slowing down audio like they were running a full FBI lab from their cracked iPhones. But the wild part is, the more people looked, the stranger the footage became. It wasn't just a clip, it felt like a warning, a countdown. A confession recorded in silence, anonymous accounts started popping up claiming the footage was never meant to surface, that it was part of a private archive Birdman kept locked away. LLEGEDLY labeled insurance. And if you know Birdman's past, you know exactly what insurance means: something dangerous enough to ruin someone, protect someone, or destroy someone. But here's where things got even messier. Multiple insiders began whispering that Wayne wasn't supposed to have access to that archive at all. That someone inside Cash Money leaked it directly to him. And that's when people started asking the question nobody wanted to: who inside Birdman's own circle finally snapped? One supposed insider said, "Look, everybody knew Birdman kept files. Wayne wasn't the first person to get a warning, and he definitely won't be the last." Another anonymous source added, "The footage is old. Too old, and the timing of it coming out? That's not an accident. Somebody wants Birdman checked." Suddenly, the internet had a brand new obsession. What exactly was Birdman doing in that footage that made Wayne label it as the last footage? The frame of him sitting alone wasn't the shock. It was what he was saying under his breath. Viewers claimed they heard him say, "He owes me everything." Others said he muttered, "This isn't over." And of course, some people swore they heard him say Wayne's name, but audio experts jumped in claiming the real version had been tampered with, that the viral one floating around wasn't the raw clip Wayne had posted. It was the version that someone else re-uploaded within minutes, edited, sharpened, filtered, modified. And that tiny detail? That changed everything. Because now questions weren't just about Birdman. They were about the mystery middleman who got the footage between Wayne's upload and the viral version. Who was fast enough to scrub metadata, shift the audio, alter the shadow contrast, and re-upload something that looked more incriminating? Regular viewers don't do that. Trolls don't do that. Casual fans don't do that. Only someone with motive and access does that. And then came the voice recordings. Multiple TikTok accounts began posting alleged voicemails from a man claiming he was part of Birdman's old security rotation. He said the footage came from a night Birdman thought he was alone, that he was talking to himself because he had just finished a heated phone call, that the call was allegedly with someone who told him he needed to let Wayne go, and Birdman allegedly didn't like that at all. According to this so-called insider, Birdman's final line before the footage cuts was, "Nobody leaves unless I say they leave." That sentence alone blew up on social media, spawning hashtags, conspiracy threads, 6-hour livestream breakdowns, and even fake documentaries from channels with robotic voiceovers and blurry red arrows pointing at nothing. But while fans were busy becoming investigators, real industry people, actual behind-the-scenes voices, started stepping in. One A&R said, "Wayne has held on to resentment for years. This isn't new. What's new is the footage. Because Birdman never slips, ever." Another producer who worked with both of them claimed, "This video being out means something's coming. Wayne's not dropping this for entertainment. He's sending a message." By this point, Birdman's camp had gone completely silent. No tweets, no statements, no cryptic Instagram posts, nothing. And you know when somebody who normally loves attention suddenly disappears? Yeah, that's when you know the storm is real. Some fans even tracked Birdman's jet movements because apparently the internet has turned into a full-time CIA program. They noticed he made an abrupt landing in Miami right after the footage dropped, a flight pattern that didn't match his previous schedules. That sparked theories that he was meeting someone privately to discuss the leak. Possibly a lawyer? Possibly a fixer. Possibly someone dealing with cleanup. Meanwhile, Wayne's team was acting suspicious too. Instead of celebrating the viral explosion, they were deleting comments. Not the regular messy comments, the investigative ones. The ones asking who recorded the footage. The ones asking how long he had it. The ones asking what else he had stashed away. That one detail made fans convinced Wayne wasn't done yet. That maybe this footage wasn't the attack, it was the opening punch. A soft warning before the real bomb dropped. And just when the internet thought things couldn't get stranger, a mysterious 4-second clip surfaced on Reddit, supposedly the extended version of the Birdman footage. In it, there's a blurry figure behind him, someone standing in the shadow near the door. Someone Birdman seems to look at before the clip cuts. The figure never moves, never speaks, never steps into the light, but their silhouette is unmistakably human. And once people noticed that, the debate erupted. Who was in the room with Birdman during the supposed alone footage? Why did he glance at them? And more importantly, why did Wayne label the footage last if this was clearly just a small part of something much bigger? Experts claim the silhouette could be anyone, a security guard, an assistant, even an old associate. But conspiracy channels claimed it was someone he trusted too much, and that this mysterious figure might be tied to why Wayne was able to get the footage in the first place. Fans started posting theories like, what if this person has been leaking files for years? And what if Wayne only released one clip but has hours more? Things were spiraling so fast that industry lawyers were LLEGDLY warning people not to repost certain versions of the video because they violated federal privacy laws. But here's the twist. Those warnings didn't come from Birdman's side. They came from an anonymous law firm representing someone with a vested interest in the footage not being circulated. Nobody knows who that is. Not Birdman. Not Wayne. Not even the fake experts pretending to know. But that one detail opened the floodgates to darker theories. Someone more powerful than both men is scared. Someone who might be exposed in the uncut footage. Suddenly podcasters and YouTubers began claiming they received emails saying they must stop discussing the video. Some even posted blurred screenshots of supposed cease and desist letters, but none of the letters mentioned Birdman by name. That silence was more incriminating than any statement, because if Birdman wasn't demanding the video be taken down, then who was? And with every hour, more people began revisiting the original feud between Wayne and Birdman, the lawsuits, the financial battles, the accusations, and then the resurfaced rumors about contracts, masters, and money trails. People began stitching all these threads together into a giant conspiracy that suddenly made the clip feel like the missing puzzle piece they've been waiting for. Especially when a former Cash Money employee tweeted, "Some things were never meant to see the light." If Wayne posted that, trust me, the light is about to get a lot brighter. And that's exactly where the internet froze. Because if that's true, that means Wayne isn't exposing Birdman. He's exposing the entire machine behind him. The people Birdman answers to. The people who planned and controlled the mess from day one. And once that theory gained traction, fans demanded this video of the footage, convinced it existed. Comment after comment. Drop the rest. We know this isn't the only clip. Where's the audio? Who is the shadow? What did Birdman say next? Because the moment the internet started demanding the rest of the footage, that's when everything truly started collapsing. And collapsing fast. Suddenly, accounts that were loudly posting theories went silent. Pages that uploaded slowed-down versions of the clip began disappearing. Not privated, deleted. Entire profiles wiped clean like they never existed. People who had been tweeting nonstop suddenly posted a final cryptic message, "I said too much," then vanished. And the strangest, this video? None of those takedowns matched Birdman's usual legal style. This wasn't messy. This wasn't loud. This wasn't ego-driven. It was efficient, quick, surgical, exactly. Like someone was erasing digital fingerprints before the world could trace them back to their source dot, and that's when the rumor dropped, the rumor that sabotaged the internet. A Reddit user claiming to be close to the original leak wrote that Wayne didn't just release the clip. He released the safest part. that he allegedly has three versions: the public clip, the private clip, and the vault clip. The vault clip being the one Birdman supposedly feared the most. The one that allegedly has names, dates, arguments, threats, confessions, the kind of things that don't just ruin careers, they end legacies. The rumor said Wayne had been holding on to these clips like ammunition for years, waiting until he felt cornered enough to use them. And this? This was just warning shot number 1. Once that theory hit TikTok, the internet turned into a digital apocalypse. Every wannabe investigator popped up with new evidence. Someone claimed they matched the silhouette in the background to a former cash money enforcer who disappeared years ago. Someone else claimed they recognized the room as a location Birdman used to run meetings out of, a place allegedly shut down after a violent incident that never made the headlines. Then a third person claimed they had the extended audio but were too scared to release it. Whether any of it was true didn't matter. The story had already swallowed the timeline whole. Meanwhile, reports started surfacing that Wayne's security had quietly doubled. Fans noticed more bodyguards around him at shows, more SUVs trailing his car, more precautions taken at events. That set off another wave of theories. If Wayne wasn't scared of Birdman before, what changed now? What in that footage made him prepare for something? Theories spread that Birdman's camp wasn't just worried, they were furious. That multiple calls had been placed behind the scenes. That people were trying to negotiate, de-escalate, or at least buy time before the rest of the footage leaked. And the pressure kept mounting when an anonymous industry consultant tweeted something that shot the internet into Shah.